Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. We're going to talk a little bit more about the mindset of the narcissist, because a lot of us are either ruminating, trying to figure out what went wrong, or all these different scenarios. So I was watching this one video on how the narc will never tell you what you did was wrong. They just expect you to know. And this one person had read or had written, "Oh my God, this is my husband verbatim. He never knows what he did." And so the other people are replying to that. And what they had said was, wait, so you're the one telling him to figure it out himself then? That's what you implied by this, implying that you're the narc. Please clarify, because this is supposed to be like a healing community. I don't mind narcissists replying, but it kind of is like, whoa, this person just literally said, yeah, my husband can never figure things out. And the other person is like, wait a minute, you're telling him to figure it out himself. And the narcissist replied with, exactly, ha ha ha. And it's just how evil their mindset can be. So they often are so dismissive on our feelings. They don't care what we're going through. We're trying to work things out. We're trying to communicate with them. And also, why do we ruminate so much? What is going on inside our mind? A lot of times there's different reasons that we revert to thinking about them, but we're thinking about somebody who doesn't care about us, that they'll leave us in this emotional turmoil where we're sitting here trying to get back on track. We're self-reflecting. We're putting a lot of energy into it. We're hurting because we want a good relationship. We're in this relationship for love, and we're getting coldness. We're getting dismissiveness, poor communication. Narcissists are horrible communicators. Sometimes we get confused on, is this person a narcissist? Because they know how to communicate, but look at what they communicate about. They can have conversations as long as they don't have to take accountability, as long as they don't have to make commitments of things that they don't want to do, or they feel that they can lie through them. So we're trying to either heal somebody who's terrible to us. I've had a lot of viewers commenting, that they feel so bad for the narcissist. The narcissist knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They see the poor outcomes of the relationships, and they just are so used to people leaving them in life. It's just like a natural cycle. Like, I'll use them up and whatever. They have that monkey branching where there's always some other form of supply. I had another viewer mention that so narcissists can never be alone. And I want to clarify on that, expand out on that. Narcissists always need supply. So they are unsettled inside, and often they will go and take it from people. Narcissists are all different. There will be times that the narcissist doesn't mind being alone because they don't want to be bothered by other people. Other people can be seen as a hassle. So a lot of times on these YouTube videos, it gets a little confusing because the narcissist can be alone, but that's often when they know there's a supply available. So they start getting uncomfortable, they start getting horny, they start, I don't know, just needing a supply in some way. They'll go get it. But often that's why they go to drugs, alcohol, porn. They have to stay busy is most of it. They need a good mix of doing their own thing. Sometimes that's with people, sometimes it's with projects, or just to get high and just lose themselves. But they don't like to stay idle. So to keep in motion, it's either to suck fuel from a person or suck fuel from a source. So a lot of times, they see us as a source, and they might mix other sources, but they're always going to suck from something. Once you take your drugs, they're gone. Once you drink your alcohol, it's gone. Once you watch porn, you already watched it. Does it have the same excitement the next time you watch it, or the fourth or fifth time? So they're constantly draining things, and that's what their whole life is about. So we're sitting here, either wanting to fix the person, wanting to fix the relationship, or just to understand exactly what went wrong. So we are never going to know exactly what went wrong. So the more you try to figure it out, it's just wasting your time. That's why it's good to move on, to let it go. Because like I responded to a viewer, unless you have two people communicating, there's no way you're going to get that exact answer. Like, why didn't I come over today? And you can go through all these thoughts in your mind. You can worry, you can wonder if I'm dead, you can this, that. And if I was a narcissist, and I don't tell you, you're never going to know. And we're wasting our time if the other person isn't going to communicate with us. Just like if, what did we do wrong? We're going to think all these scenarios. And it could be something like, we crumpled up the towel on the rack when we dried our hands. And we're like, I would have never thought that. That's what you're upset about. So unless they tell us, it's futile. So in order to survive with a narcissist, we have to have thick skin too. And that's why sometimes we can interact with narcissists if we have thick skin, because a lot of times there's cut downs, and eventually it's like that Chinese water torture. Like, you can only take so much. So, you can hear, oh, you look like hell today. But if you hear it every day, it's going to start to get to you, no matter how thick your skin is. And that's why workplaces can be toxic. If they're always cutting you down, always taking credit for something you did. They keep you lost in your reality. They take opportunities, situations, friends from you. They like to isolate you so you have nobody to go to. So they are the only place you can go, and it's just how destructive they can be to not be open. And how are you going to change things if you don't know what you did wrong? And it could be something that you wouldn't even think was wrong. Let's say you cleaned up and you moved certain books around, and that ticks them off. But you're like, I cleaned the house today. I even rearranged. So you're thinking you're doing your part, and it's ticking them off. So as the relationship progresses, it's destructive. There's no communication, and with the new supply, a lot of us are either jealous or wondering if it's going to work out. It's the same cycle. It's going to be the same cycle. It might take longer. One thing I want to bring to you guys, though, is, I want to be real with you guys. They're always like, when you watch these YouTube channels, a lot of them are like pumping us up, like the new supply is jealous of you if they know about you, or you were better, the new supply isn't better. And sometimes, it's not necessarily if somebody is better. It's just, it's like an outside source that the narcissist needs. So often, it's probably somebody on par with you. It's just the external sources might be better. So, maybe they're in a different social circle, because the narcissist, they get their reactions from external sources. They get their fuel from external sources. Their triggers are from external sources. So bipolar is internal narcissism. Borderline is from external triggers. So they can have negative reactions to things, and they're going to take it out on the person closest to them. So it was you. Now that they have a new supply, that's the person closest to them. It will always destroy a relationship. So I don't want you guys feeling that this new supply is prettier or more handsome, or the person themselves is better, because good people are good people. We're all different. Some of us have better jokes. But the narcissist, stuck around with us for a while. They saw what was good. They even gave us promises of a future. And they just switched. It's just a different supply. Maybe that new supply does more sexual favors. Does that mean that person's really better than you? It's just somebody different, and maybe you cooked better. So there's balances, good and bad. And it's just where the narcissist felt their supply was being met the most. And that's where it's hard to figure out, because you're like, the sex was good, I made better dinners, all these things you're going to go through. The narcissist is so unsettled inside that as they start to devalue us, because they're always trying to get the best of the best of, the grass is greener on the other side. They want to keep up with the Joneses, that, just like if they moved into this new house and they were all excited about it, and then they start thinking, this house sucks. Everybody else has something better. They start really devaluing it, almost despising the house that they're in. And that's what it goes like with a relationship. At first, it's the best thing in the world, and it's so heartbreaking how much they can devalue a person, and this is where the snowball of the destruction happens, is when they beat down our thick skin. They cause us to kind of, in a sense, have some self-esteem issues. Our boundaries aren't being upheld. We're being canceled on, we're being put down, we're being silent treatment, or made to do this guessing game, or trying to figure all this stuff out. They can't be on the up and up with us. And you need to have respect in a relationship. You need to have communication, but the narcissist just destroys everything. Eventually they're going to get caught in whatever they're doing. Maybe it's not 100% that they're going to get caught for actually cheating, but they're going to get caught somehow for lying. And even if it's just a lie, like you said, you were in Toledo, but you were in Cincinnati. You might not know the person was having an affair, but you already know that little bit of mistrust. So they're going to plant the seed of doubt in the new supply, just like they did with you. You're like, this isn't adding up. Sometimes too, we're like, 8 months ago, like I just saw somebody posted on Facebook a memory from whatever, and you're like, wait a second. And you can figure certain things out, because that's a certain clue. It'll have a date, like, they said they went to a parade, and then you're like, wait a minute, that parade wasn't until 2 weeks after. Little things like that. I busted mine out because of a big billboard, which had the dates of when this ice or festival of lights type thing was going on, and it didn't add up to what he was saying. And sure enough, he was cheating. But it took a long time to figure certain things out. It comes to fruition, and the narcissist has to stay busy. They're not good at staying idle, because that's when their brain function starts to there's actual increase in stimuli, and it's like all these things going on, just like with us. We got a lot going on in our brains too now. We're not as much at peace, and to move forward, we have to accept that we're never going to find the answers. Will the new supply, will that fall apart? We have to let it go and let that cycle take its course. It's not good to wait for somebody. It's not good to have angry feelings about the situation. We're hurt. And I get it. Like, I am uncomfortable in my own skin sometimes because of how much I hurt, how much I was betrayed, how much I was promised. And it meant nothing. It honestly meant nothing. And it's so weird. Like, if you get on a friend basis with them in the end, you can still have like great conversations. Like my second narc, we ended up doing a friend thing for a while. And even though I was really, really hurt, I just really, really missed him. And we always had great conversations. That's why it was like kind of mind blowing. Like, why did we just give up? We never, we didn't fight. Other than, are you following through on your promise? And for 2 years, it's yes, I'm going to follow through. Yes, I'm going to follow through, you know. But you look back and you're like, everything was great between us, except for the destruction that they caused. If they would have been truthful, it wouldn't have destroyed everything. So what ruined my relationship with my first one was I got a speeding ticket on Valentine's Day. The second one, I got annoying, but I was just like, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? And I got reassured every weekend for 2 years. So did I really destroy it? Was it just not better communication or following through on things? And looking back, they kind of like laugh it off, like, you're so stupid, like, or what's the big deal? They look at death different. They don't mourn like we do. It's not as deep to them. They might miss a supply, like, if I was a narcissist, which I'm not, but if I was and my husband died, now I'm like, great, how am I going to pay the mortgage? And I'm pissed off at him that, I don't know, maybe he smoked and didn't give a crap about me, because now I have to take care of myself, as opposed to missing the person, whether they smoked or not, that they're looking at the supply that they got, as opposed to missing that person and being like, I really wish that he didn't smoke. Like, he probably would have a couple more years with me. And I know he was stressed or whatever. But narcissists get angry when their needs aren't met. And, there's times that, we want our needs met too. And it just, even in that conversation, like, our need is, what did I do wrong? Just tell me what I did wrong so we can work through it. That's my need. Is that a terrible need? I just need to communicate. I don't even care. Tell me what I did wrong. That's a basic need to have a relationship survive. So the narcissist, that's the way they handle situations. It will always destroy, whether it was with you or a new supply, co-workers. The only time narcissists can maintain relationships is when it's kind of like a free reign, no expectations, kind of like just going to a party. You talk to people, it's nice. I don't care if I don't see them tomorrow. It's just nice. I'll talk to them, I'll dance with them, maybe have a couple drinks with them. No expectations. It's just moments in time. And, the narcissist might commit to a relationship just for the supply. Kind of like some people, they'll get addicted to going to those kind of parties because it was fun, it was free, no expectations, get to meet people. And the narcissist doesn't have a true connection. They have interactions, but not true connections. I want you to take that to heart. And I'm going to say it again. They have interactions. They don't have connections. They don't have the empathy to form a bond. They don't have the emotions tied to an action to develop deep memories. So they'll often have emptiness in their memory, and they fill it in. Sometimes we feel that, we were scammed. Sometimes they do go into things thinking that they can have something normal, but then they just react in their narc ways. And it is like that little infection that just spreads out of control. There's no cure for it. So even if you do the love bombing and get it back down to size, that infection's still there in that relationship, and it's just gonna get worse with time. You look at the different statistics on first and second marriages. You would think that people would learn from their mistakes, but they have that baggage. We all do. Now we do. We have to let go of the baggage so we can be healthy. But baggage causes triggers. And then narcissist has triggers in their life from their childhood. And plus whatever adult relationships that they had. So they're filled with triggers. And they don't look at how it's going to affect another person. And when it's two people in a relationship, you have to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to keep hurting the person you're with. And then they'll see that you're hurt. They'll see that you're confused. And they don't care. And then it irritates them because they know they caused it. And they get uncomfortable trying to fix things. You know, it's just like overwhelming to them. It's not worth it to them to work through things. It's not worth it to take time for somebody else's feelings because they are that self-centered. I know it's hard for us to understand. You guys have probably watched 100 or more hours. Or if you're just starting out, welcome, welcome to the gang. You're going to be watching 100 hours or more, trust me, whether it's me or somebody else. But it's so hard to figure out. How can somebody lack empathy? Because we all go through experiences. And we see them wanting kind of the same things we want. We want respect. We want communication, but it's always one way with them. They want us to communicate with them. They want us to tell them the truth. They want us to be there for them, but it's a one-way street. And that's where it gets so confusing. Like how can't you see that? And then we think about the times that they did do it, but they did it out of, I guess, obligation to secure the supply. And once they secure it, they expect it. And their expectations, you know, it could work. You know, we can have expectations in a relationship, but you have to be caring towards the other person's feelings. You know, instead of demanding, you work out what these expectations are and you agree to them. But it can't be a one-way street. Otherwise, they're like overpowering you. And it's just, this is a key point. When they overpower us, they're over us. And people at the top, if you notice, people at the top don't often respect the people that are beneath them. And as it goes by, they're going to notice little things, and they're going to bring you down lower and lower and lower. And it's real hard to get back up there because you're not allowed to set boundaries. You're not allowed to ask, how can I make this better? It's a no-win situation. That no matter how hard you try, the harder you try, the more they're going to knock you down and use you. It's just like if we had, I don't know, a cleaning crew, and the narcissist saw us as a cleaning crew, and one person was the best cleaning person. And let's say this is all unpaid. So who's the narcissist going to go for over and over again is the best. So that person's working the hardest than anybody else in their life. And they won't balance it. Like everybody has a job to do. We'll just, you know, they'll just use the person closest to them, the person that gives them the most supply, and easily discard a person, just like an object. Just like some of these companies that whatever, we can always get a replacement. You think you're better than everybody else? You're out. They'll fire you at a drop of a hat and not look back because they know they can replace you. And the narcissist is like that in relationships. Like, screw it. You don't want to do what I want. You want to set boundaries? Like, who are you to set boundaries? They don't like it. And it's kind of interesting to the dynamics because more narcissists are male. And also based on society, how we raised men, in traditional relationships. There are other kinds, but we've almost raised them to, that's probably why there are more narcissistic men. They're not allowed to show their emotions. You tell a little boy, suck it up, don't cry, be a man. The different things that we do to our kids, you know, it's sad how much childhood trauma gets into adult lives and how it affects relationships is spiraling out of control, because these narcissists take the good-hearted people, the people that grew up with the parents that, you know, did the best that they could. So there's not much emotional damage. There's always little triggers, you know, certain little things, but for the most part, you grow up healthy. And then they just tear you down. They do the same abuse that they did, that they received. You know, so if they're vulnerable, if they were being beat, or, you know, they're going to have aggression. They're going to possibly, you know, not be able to control their physical outbursts. And I just thought it was kind of interesting to see, you know, through some of these comments, like, yeah, I'm the narcissist, so what? And they get a kick out of it. You can see it. And if you have come across some of these comments from people who know that they're narcissistic, if you can comment below, did they seem cocky? Did they seem to get a thrill out of the abuse that they put on someone? I'd like you, if you could, comment below, because it's good to see from other people that, yeah, we're not alone. That's just the way the narcissist is. It doesn't mean we were bad people. It doesn't mean we failed. So I want to give you a big hug. It's just, you know, if you're thinking what you did wrong, when somebody is like cocky enough to go, yeah, I'm not going to tell them. Is that something you did wrong when you're asking? How can I make it better for you, baby? Tell me how you did that wrong. Who was the one wrong in that situation? So big hugs to you, and I'll see you in the next video.